Hello and welcome to your 4:30 Salford Now programme. I am Faye Eager.
And I'm Emma White. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
For World Mental Health Day, Hannah Patterson spoke to Rebecca McAllister from Salford charity 4 Minds Foundation about how they are raising awareness for mental well-being on social media.
Every day is Mental Health Awareness Week. Every day we're trying, every day we're pushing, every day we are trying to resolve and find an answer individually for those that need it.
400 children from North Walkden FC are at risk of not being able to play in the local league due to their pitches being vandalised.
We also find out how the people of Salford have been impacted by rising food prices. We are sorry to hear that North Walkden Football Club's youth team have been left without their pitches after a group of vandals damaged them with quad and motorbikes.
Earlier, Stephen Hayward visited the pitches to have a look at the damage caused.
I'm here at Amblecote Playing Fields, home of North Walkden FC's youth teams, and as you can see, these pitches really aren't that playable. Now, this damage has been a result of vandalism that has occurred over both days of the weekend. And on Twitter, the club have received many messages of support and even an offer from a local groundsman who is providing as many services as he can to get these pitches playable again before the end of the season. Now, locals that I've spoken to here have said they are appalled by the damage, and there are now demands for Salford City Council to provide better protection and all-round fencing for the pitches here at Amblecote in order to keep the green spaces green. Back to you in the studio.
We really hope that it gets sorted soon. The cost of food has soared over the last year, with many of us feeling the pressure.
Liz Thierker went to see how this has impacted the people of Salford.
With food costs continuing to rise, fresh fruit and vegetables are now deemed a luxury. But how do we get these staples back on people's plates?
Wondering we're going out and buying like fruits, it's a luxury. No, they say you're supposed to eat so many a day, but it isn't a necessity.
Victory Outreach runs a community grocery that allows people to get their weekly shop for just £4, and it's clearly making an impact during the cost of living crisis.
I've only been coming a couple of months, and obviously just having a little baby, I think it can kind of, because there is such a range, there's always something new, isn't there, on the shelves, especially for the baby and things like that, and the cost of living at the moment is just unacceptable.
In the past 12 months, we have seen the price of semi-skim milk increase by around 25p per pint, and fruit and vegetable prices rise by 9%. Some of these costs are because of the global factors like the price of fertiliser. The British Retail Consortium says we should all be prepared for higher prices till at least next year.
Price pressure is likely to remain until the end of the year and possibly, or I would say probably, the first few months of 2023 as well. Any kind of respite or relief for the consumer in lower prices is probably not going to be seen for, I would say, another 6 to 9 months, probably towards the second half of 2023.
Those trying to help say so many people are struggling and there's just not enough food to help them all.
There's a lot of people that are pulling from places like Fair Share and surplus stock that we've actually found a slight decrease in the produce that we have in, because so many different people are pulling from it at this time because there's such a need.
But from residents who shop here, the grocery has proved a lifesaver.
Yeah, couldn't do without it. Really couldn't.
Liz Thierker, Salford Now.
Thank you for that, Liz. A march and vigil to support suicide prevention took place this weekend in Salford. The procession travelled along Broad Street before ending at the Salford Museum and Art Gallery.
Ali Hussain went along to the march.
Suicide, a topic entrenched in tragedy, shock and horror. On Saturday 8th of October, a march was held at the Salford Museum and Art Gallery to emphasise the importance of suicide prevention. People who had lost their loved ones attended the event, including Beverly Hockenhull, who lost her grandson Daniel 2 years ago.
Your heart breaks. Heartbreaking. Yeah, your heart's shattered into pieces. Although Daniel suffered from mental health for the last 10 years of his life, every November just seemed to have been an issue with him for some reason. And we got right near the end of November 2020 and he took his life the 29th of November. And he was only 28 when he passed away, my grandson. Yeah.
The event was meant to happen last month, but was postponed due to the Queen's death. The organiser of the event and charity called Reach Out, Dennis Baldwin, said this event was vital.
So it's about that public profile, about saying you're not alone, you know, and it's about supporting each other. It's a community that no one wants to join, but it's a fabulous one.
According to the Office of National Statistics, there were 5,583 suicides in the last year in England and Wales, higher than the previous year. Factors like the cost of living crisis have also played a part. Salford MP Rebecca Long-Bailey spoke at the event.
There's not enough investment that's going into schools to help young people in early intervention, and that needs to change. And there are loads of brilliant things happening across Salford. We've got amazing services and amazing volunteers, but they're working all the hours God sends and they don't have enough funding from government, and that really needs to change.
The event started with a march through Broad Street and ended with Rebecca Long-Bailey, where she read out the names of the people who took their lives in the past year.
Jack Holder, Joyce Mogridge, Sin Wilkins, Connell Arthur.
Today is Mental Health Awareness Day, and charities across Salford are emphasising the importance of putting your mind first and how to speak up if you are struggling.
Hannah Patterson joins us now in the studio to discuss one charity in particular.
Salford is becoming more and more aware of the growing mental health crisis in the UK, and individuals like Rebecca McAllister are stepping up in courage to try and support those around them. Last year, I met with Rebecca when she had just founded her mental health charity, Four Minds Foundation, which went viral and made people feel seen as they posted a selfie with the organisation's hand symbol and captioned it with the hashtag #WeGoAgain. I spoke to her earlier today to find out what Mental Health Awareness Day means to her.
I think for us as a foundation, every day is Mental Health Awareness Week. Every day we're trying, every day we're pushing, every day we are trying to resolve and find an answer individually for those that need it. I think as somebody that struggles with it on a very bad level, I think for me, it's every day is a small step. Every day is a reason to keep going, and you've got to take it as a bit of a mission. You get up, you complete what you need to complete, then you give yourself rest. I think if you just carry on with that mindset each day and every day, you'll get through it.
Rebecca said that she doesn't think there will ever be an end to mental health struggles. However, she's passionate that if Salford stays strong as a community, we can combat it one day at a time. She's going to keep fighting to spread awareness and prove to people that they are not alone.
Salford's a community. It's a lot different from everywhere else. I think close-knitted communities kind of help each other because they know a lot of people, they know each other. And I think with that said, as long as they all try and work together and help each other and be a friendly face community, it'll continue to be better in some aspects. When me and Paige set this up, we didn't expect the impact that it would get, and now we're going in schools and colleges and stuff and working along the youth, and I think if you can help the children of today, you'll be able to help the adults of tomorrow.
Thank you for that, Hannah. If you wish to speak to someone about your mental health, Samaritans offer a 24/7 helpline.
The number to call is 116 123, which is also on the screen behind me.
Laura Derbyshire was diagnosed with breast cancer in July 2020, but this didn't hold her back from running this year's Manchester Half Marathon.
Hiba Abu Hamida spoke to Laura about why participating in the event was important to her.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
This is Laura, just 41, a mother and a breast cancer fighter.
I think
all the emotions around everything in terms of the marathon, and obviously speaking to a lot of different people about the whole cancer journey and the marathon and everything. I think today she feels like a warrior. Other days she is just a mum.
A few people just on the finish line here.
Nearly 15,000 people across Salford and Greater Manchester took part on Sunday's Manchester's half marathon. Competitors ran through Trafford Road, Sale, Streetford and Manchester's city centre for 13.1 miles. And Laura's was one of these runners who have a story.
For the past 2 years, I have felt not physically strong and not physically able to do anything like the marathon. And the thought of going from chemotherapy when you can't walk upstairs without being completely out of breath, you know, you can't do anything, you can't hoover, you struggle to make a cup of tea. So the thought of being able to even enter the marathon is absolute crackers.
She managed to raise around £3,000 for the North Care charity to purchase another dot machine, as the dot machine works on a breakdown scar tissue.
Don't give up. Don't think that it defines you. Don't think that your life is over.
It didn't stop her life after she got diagnosed with cancer during COVID lockdown. Laura is still fighting cancer along with her daughter's support.
Even though that I've had cancer, and that is something about me, that's not just me, that's not just Laura. The cancer is just an element of Laura that's a bigger part of me.
Hiba Abu Hamida, Salford Now.
Thank you for that, Hiba. So, Faye, did you watch the rugby this weekend?
Actually, no, I didn't, but I did hear there was plenty of games happening at the AJ Bell.
Abby Titmus was pitchside with more.
England completed their World Cup warm-up preparations this weekend with a 50-0 thrashing at the AJ Bell Stadium against Fiji. Newcastle Knights' Dominic Young was the star of the show, scoring the opening try 15 minutes into the first half. Salford's own Andy Ackers was making his debut and scored England's second try at his home stadium. Another one of Salford's own, Callum Watkins, assisted by Young, scored England's third try, taking the score up to 22-0. With 6 minutes left of the game, Ryan Hall crossed the try line, taking the final score to 50-0. The third Salfordian, Mark Snade, helped England keep adding points to the board with a number of successful conversions. England and Fiji followed a tri-service game between the Army and the RAF. The men's team were the third set to go head-to-head that day, following the Academy and the women's team. The final result was a 32-point win for the RAF against 4 points scored by the Army. It was the Army, however, that were victorious in the Academy game as they received their trophy at the AJ Bell Stadium. Overall, it was an amazing evening of rugby with fans of all ages coming out despite the weather, and a great warm-up for England ahead of their World Cup, which starts this Saturday. Abby Titmus, Salford Now.
Wow, I wish I'd have gone along to that game. That's all we've got time for today. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.
Goodbye.